What's up guys, it's Timmy and welcome back to Factorio, and you join me as I gently slide my way down my very meager research station that I created last time. And I've let it run for a little bit between episodes. I've been doing a few bits and bobs, a bit of housekeeping so to speak. And one of the things I did, which I don't think I did in last episode, is I just added in this, which is a chest which will automatically load green science onto the belt. It's not exactly automated or brilliant in any way, shape or form, but what the hell, it at least allows me to carry on researching. So I've been doing a bit of researching between episodes, and mainly just doing the, upgrading my bullet shooting speed and things like that, because I've been doing also a lot of biter clearing, because my pollution has spread out a very long way now, and I have, why is that bit not polluted? Maybe coal sucks in the pollution, I don't know. And I've kind of kept the biters at bay. However, I have a bit of a problem forming down here, and my pollution is getting dangerously close to 3 very large bases. So something tells me that's something I'm going to have to deal with in the not too distant future, and I might try and deal with that on camera. So I haven't been doing it on camera up to now because it's a bit grindy, just sort of stepping turrets towards the biter base until I manage to wipe it out, and it takes a while and it's pretty dull to watch, so I haven't been doing it, but that's quite an impressive big one, so maybe I'll let you watch me fail at doing that for a while. Other than that, not much really else happening. I had a little stone production thing here which has mined itself out now. Everything here is fine. So the main plan for today is to get working on the chip plant, which is going to be in this area here, which I've sort of saved this very large area here, which should be sufficient for me to build what I need to build. And the chip plant is going to basically feed both green and red microchips onto the belts. That's my plan, because chips are always something I seem to run out when I'm playing with this game. Other than that, over at the sort of main starter base, a couple of things have changed. I built a very rudimentary green science production facility, which just outputs into a chest here, just to allow me to do a little bit of research into the green area. The iron deposit I had up here, as you can tell, kind of ran down. I think that was gone already. Yep. And so I was just going to leave it, but then I ended up actually opening up this ore deposit here and feeding it around, just because it was pretty easy to do, and it meant that I kept producing all the various materials and stuff like that down here that I need. Stone production, as you can see, my stone mines have run out now. However, I have been, I moved it. Where did I put it? Somewhere. Over here, there it is. Yeah, I put in a new little stone producer over here, which I can just manually. Have we got any space? I have. Let's carry some over while we're here and thinking about it. So yeah, this just feeds into a chest, and then I can just dump it over there into another chest, and it will automatically feed it. So not the point of this game. You're meant to automate it all, but I really can't bother to route this over here just for stone when I'm not going to need that much, and sooner or later it will go over to the main factory. There we go. But we have actually now got quite a large amount of walls. I restricted that down to 2 rows, and that's full now. And we also have quite a nice supply of stone bricks building up there. So that's something else we don't need to worry about making. So how many chips do I currently have? Let me grab a few of these chips. As you can see, these are producing nicely. And some iron. Get myself a little bit of iron and copper. We should have tons of copper somewhere. Maybe we don't actually. I had to make a new copper feed because I ran out of copper and I was still using it to produce the green science. So take one of those. Now that these running. The other thing I did, which you may have noticed, is I actually upgraded all these to iron or steel furnaces. I wasn't planning on doing that because I was going to go straight to electrical furnaces, but I had some in my inventory and I had some extra steel, so I thought, what the hell? What are you doing? Oh yeah, this is I found this annoying 2 blocks of coal which was doing my head in, so I thought I would just set that up to deal with it. So between episodes as well, just to save a bit of ball aching, I've got my electrical poles. I've got the bigger poles, which is quite nice, and I've made up a shit ton of, well, fucking hell, I've got 112 assembly machines too, and a load of fast inserters, belts, underground belts, switches. Okay, I don't have any belts on me, do I? Let me go grab some belts from my production facility quickly, and then we will crack on with the chip plant. So I've got a design in mind for the chip plant. It's one I've used before to relative success. You obviously need, as you can see here from this chip plant, you need to feed the copper coils into the chip plant, and then you need to put iron in as well. And I found that the rate of copper coils that you use is pretty crazy, and putting copper coils onto a belt, I always find I end up backing up and not having enough. Oh shit, I really didn't want all that. There we go. Factory can reproduce them. Is that enough? That was a 200, wasn't it? Yeah, let's grab 300. What the hell? As you can see, this is pretty crappy green science. I have to manually load belts into it, but that just felt like the easiest way of doing it. Yeah, so the design I've got basically means that I don't actually have to put any of the intermediary products, such as the only intermediary product is the coils. I don't need to put those into onto a belt. They just go straight into the factory. So roughly what the design kind of looks like is 1, 2, 3, and 1. Wait. Is that it? That looks kind of right. Yeah, that's right. I think I can put those. I got confused because I'm sure I can put these together. But it's going to look really weird if I put them together. Damn you, Factorio, and your. Anyway, this is. No, these are 3x3, so that's 9 and 6. So yeah, it's always going to be out. So it's going to go like that. That's fine. So they go down like that. These produce chips. I wish I could remember what the copy and paste mechanic is. You can actually copy recipes from one to another, but I can never remember what it is. I'll look it up between episodes. Copper coils are in a weird place for some reason. They're in logistics rather than in raw materials, but whatever. I think that's because you use them for doing circuit networks, things like that. So it goes like that, and then basically I believe I've seen this on a video. I'm going to say it was Mangled Pork Bentham who did this, so he could be wrong, and I could just be copying him at a time that he was wrong, and then he worked it out later. But I believe 3 of these for 2 of these is a pretty good ratio in terms of keeping things running at max capacity. And then what happens is these output like this, and then I'll need this. Now, I have a slight decision to make, and I don't know which way around this is going to be best. And obviously the copper feeds in from the bottom, so we'll have a copper line running through the bottom. Stop running into a bloody factory, Tim. This will be a copper line, and then you need 2 lines here, 1 and 2, and one of these lines is the output. So long inserter. Right now I've got it set up so the chips will go onto the closest belt, and then the long inserters will reach out onto the far belt. Now I don't know which way around is best to do that, because I need iron obviously on one of these belts, and then so right now I'd have it so that the iron comes in here, and then the long inserts pick up the iron, feed it into here, and then when the chips are made they get put onto this belt. The reason that it's kind of good to do it like this is then I can obviously do this and then just mirror this on the other side. Now let's have a quick look at what it takes to make these resources. Can I get rid of something on here which is not necessary? There we go. Right, it's just 1 and 1. Okay, so it takes 1 iron. See, what I could also do is actually double up and have 2 iron feeds in the middle. How much space do we have, and how much space does this take up? I need to be able to get at least 2 of these rows in, which I will easily be able to do. And then it can run. My concern is because I've done this here, I can move the smeltery over. I wanted to have the smeltery in this area, but maybe I should move the smeltery. I've got plenty of space. If I move the copper one over a bit, and then the iron one can go over as well, or the iron one. Actually, the iron one could go in here. Yeah, you know, we're gonna double up, because the plan of this series, as I've said, is we're gonna go big. Everything's gonna be ridiculous, and we're gonna have lots. So I'm gonna actually do that, and I think that's worth doing. I don't know. It's a lot of belts that. No, we're gonna stick with my design that I've used before, and I'm gonna put iron in the middle. No. I'm gonna output the chips on the middle. Okay, one of these times I should make these decisions before I actually record. I'm gonna output the chips onto the middle and feed the iron in. My thinking behind that, and shout me down in the comments if I'm wrong, is these will output circuits as soon as they have them in them. But I believe they can store like 200 maybe? Yeah, they can store 200 in there. So if the chip output gets backed up because there's not enough space for it to get rid of, it will keep producing for a while into this. However, if it's not getting enough iron into it, it will stop producing. And I'd rather it be producing and building up supplies in each of the factories than waiting for iron or producing at a slow rate because of that. So that's what we're going to do. So what I now have to do is replicate this about 1,000,000 times. Which, if you've played this game and you know about the beautiful thing which is the logistics bots and the constructor bots, is I can actually, if I was at that level, I could just copy this and then go blunk, 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 place it all down, and my bots would rush out and build it. But unfortunately, I don't have any of that right now. So we're going to leave this. I could guess I could move, but I am going to leave it. In fact, that's probably not a terrible starting position. It leaves a couple of gaps here in case I need to stick in any belts for any reason in the future. So iron's going to feed in from here. Copper's going to feed in from there as well. Yeah, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to ignore this as if this is, because that's not going to be there in the future. So let's just freaking do it. Let's just go crazy. Right, so this is copper. Copper feed 1. Oh my god, it's going to take ages of walking back and forth. But, you know, if you've clicked on to watch a Factorio video, well, this is Factorio. Which way do I want the chips to come out? I kind of want the chips to go back that way and then feed up to the main bus. I don't want to like cut stuff into the main bus over here. So yeah, the chip production is definitely going to have to go that way. So this is the iron feed. I'm having 2 iron. Ugh, 2 iron inputs for 1 output. I suppose we can always switch this around. This wouldn't be, you know, if the three lanes are there, it's not going to be, this will be the chip output. It's not going to be that massively complicated to switch them around and make it so it's 2 chip outputs and 1 iron input. We'll see. We'll see. There'll be plenty of time for fettling in the future. So, yeah. Well, I suppose it's, wow, I went through all that already. Oops. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. I just need to go and get some more belts. Okay, it's my 300 belts I grabbed last time. Clearly wasn't sufficient. I've just grabbed the entire contents of that chest. We're going to have to move that power cable, annoyingly. Let's see if that's going to be enough. It had replaced the 300 I took, so hopefully it will actually reproduce at a quick enough rate for me to get this built. Do I have any power cables? Ooh, I have my nice big ones, but let's see if we can just link it up with this. Oh, you're going to be a pain in the arse, aren't you? That was the only... Oh, no, there we go. I was going to say, was that the only spot that I would go? But apparently not. Right, so that is the first line of things. So, yeah, I was saying, I think before I ran off then, was that it is going to have... I was thinking 2 iron feeds for 1 copper feed, but actually I was wrong there because it's got a copper feed here and there'll be another one up there. So there will be 2. So that's fine. I think that'll be okay. So I may end up moving all this. I'm putting these in right now for... So I know where to put the other copper line because I'm a bit stupid and I don't want to have to redo it again just because I put it 1 space out. That is so annoying in this game if you've ever played it and you put something 1 space out and then you end up having to freaking remove the whole thing. Is that how that goes? Yeah, that looks fine. That looks fine. Yeah. Okay, so then the last copper feed goes here, and then we'll get a feel for how much space we have and make sure we can at least get the second feed in. Yeah, there's copper coming this way. Damn you, power pole! Straight into a bloody power pole again. There we go. Did that connect? Yeah. That connected. I can see the little line. Right, so run this one back out to here. Okay, so... Get onto a belt that's going the right way to speed us back. Okay, so yeah, we'll certainly get 2. We're not going to get 3, but we might be able to get 2, and then the red science production as well. But we're going to keep, we're going to keep this entire area. And obviously, as we mine this out, we can expand further that way. But right now, because we're not using any iron really on the bus, or hardly any, it's just not going anywhere. So let's expand this as far as we can. But once we activate this, we should start to chew through iron and certainly copper. It tells me there's going to be a requirement for a new copper feed in our future somewhere. A very substantial one at that. Ooh, there we go. Run this back. Sorry. I was looking at something else at that moment. I know that just looked completely retarded when I was just running and not even noticing the fact that I wasn't putting it in the right place, but yes, that's because my eyes are only looking at one thing and I was actually looking at my timer. Anyway, right. Fortunately, this game doesn't punish you for that kind of mistake. Right, so how many of these are we going to get in here? It feels like we're going to get quite a lot, so that's good. The thing that I really want to achieve with this base is shooting rocks. No, not shooting rocks. Is module production. So I'll show you in a second once I've done these, but there are these things in this game called modules, and what they are is they kind of look like SIM cards that you kind of get in your phone, and I guess they're kind of advanced sort of microprocessor type chips, and you can put them in, if I have a look in here, just have to make something. Yeah, they go in here. And what they basically do is, cancel that because I don't want to have that there, just in case. Well, there's 3 different kinds. There's one that makes things faster, that's the blue one and the more basic one. And then there's one which makes things more efficient, so they use less power and I think produce less pollution. And then there is one which is the productivity one, I believe, which basically makes it double up on how much it outputs. So they're really useful, and they are very much an end game kind of product. Once your base is producing pretty much everything it needs to produce, you can start producing those, and it just basically increases the productivity, efficiency and speed of your base. The problem with them is they use an absolute shit ton of microchips, or green and red and the blue chips, which we'll get to at a later date. Yeah, they use a lot of those, and every time I've tried to implement it, even to make fairly sort of modest amounts of chips, it's just gone badly. It's just, my chip production has just never ever produced enough chips to keep it going. So hence why, rather than normally what I would do is on a main bus type setup like this, I would just are we going to leave one gap? Sorry, break of thought, but I need to decide if I'm going to leave a gap or not. But they don't need to leave a gap, do I? Should we just try without gaps at all? We get a lot in if we don't put any gaps in. Yeah, sorry, so coming back to it, so I always end up struggling with chip production and not having it, because what I normally do is actually, as I say, just feed iron and copper onto the main bus, and then I use, we're not going to have enough of these, I made so many and we're not going to have enough, and then I just make my chip, or build my chip plant off the main bus, kind of like I've done with the science over there. Problem with that is that, you know, a lot of things in this game use microchips, and you just end up with just not enough chips, and the belts literally, even when they're being fully rammed with lovely chips, they just can't carry things fast enough to even get them there. So I'm hoping, rather than, as I say, building it off the main bus and sucking up all the copper halfway down the bus, that doing it this way, I really don't want to screw this up because I'm going to be coming back and doing this in a minute if I do. Yeah, doing it this way and treating chips as more of a raw material rather than a product from the factory, I think maybe will alleviate that issue. But only time will tell, I guess. I mean, the other good thing about having them on the... I mean, obviously, there's still the risk of the belts not being able to keep up production, but I am planning on having probably 2 green chip runs, belts, and a red. Maybe even 3 and 2, or 3 and 1, sorry. But yeah, I don't know. A lot, should we say. And by having it on the bus like this, what I can actually do is build, because I've often had an idea of building like a, I've done something wrong there, haven't I? Building a, it should just be one gap between them all, right? Yeah, building like an out of town or out, a chip plant away from the base or away from the main bus that's actually based, around it. It's got its own iron production, it's got its own copper production, and it literally just produces, all it does is a big factory that produces chips and then use trains to bring them into the main factory, which having a main bus setup like this does leave that option for me, because I can now, God, this is so confusing. So confusing. My brain can't do this whilst commentating. Anyway, yeah, it allows me to expand potentially fairly or further than I could based on just using materials available on the bus. So, anyway, sorry if that was rambling, but I was trying to say that while I was doing this. And as you can tell, if you've ever watched any of my videos, doing complex things whilst talking is very difficult for me. So what I need to do now is, so this is going to be the basic setup. I think everything's in the right place. He says as darkness defends. So I'm going to mirror this on the other side, and then I'm going to put in all the inserters, and then we'll come back to it. Okay guys, so after a very monotonous amount of placing of repetitive patterns, I have managed, I think, to get everything laid out. So the only other things I need to do is assign what these are going to make. And fortunately I have figured out how to do the copy and pasting. What you do is you press shift and then right click to copy. You can see that square went green around that. And now every time I play shift, like now, you see it'll go green. And now what I have to do is just hold shift and left click like so, and it will automatically just copy that. So that does, obviously it just copies your recipes. I don't think it does anything else. I guess with smart inserters and things like that, which we haven't really covered yet in this series, it will copy any criteria you have in there to what they're meant to be picking up. So let's just put all these in. Then we've got to get the power in. Then we need to hook up the belts, and we should be about there. A couple of things between, while I've been doing this, is a couple of research bits finished, and as you notice at the bottom, I have an extra toolbar because I did the toolbar one because I thought that'd be useful. So that's one of the research upgrades. It's where is it? This one here, and basically it just gives you another line, so you can have more things in your hotbar, which is obviously quite useful. And right, so power, we can use our new shiny power poles, which I hope I have enough of. 75. One of the nice things about this design, or part of the nice, is you can put one in there, and it will cover all of this, or at least it will once I hook it up. I'll have to put another one up here somewhere, but annoyingly, let's put it both sides, but we'll have a think about that in a second. So if we just fill in all of these, I've realised something else while I've been doing this as well, which is that I don't believe in any way, stretch, or any way, shape or form that this single belt here is going to be enough to feed copper to all of these factories. It's just never going to be enough. But that's fine, because leaving these gaps, because you always want to leave gaps in Factorio, what I will do eventually, or as when I need to, which will probably be as soon as I turn it on, is I'll be able to run additional copper feeds down, and then at the point that this first belt stops being able to feed all of these, the next belt will cut in and feed the next few, and then the next belt will feed the next few. And I think with 3 belts we should be able to get to the end of that quite easily. They've got power now, which is nice. Tell you what, it's been such a bloody pain in the arse for my head. Pain in the arse for my head? No, pain in the head, I guess would be a more accurate word for that. Yeah, it's been such a pain having to sit and watch all these flashing bloody lights constantly. We can get rid of that. I had to leave that in there because I wanted my iron production to start up again. That needs to go around that way. So yeah, so I hope you don't mind me sort of skipping out all of that, because like I say, once you saw the initial design, this was just monotonous, as you can imagine, replacing, as I say. Once I get to drones and construction bots, this won't be as much of an issue, because I can just basically copy a pattern and then tell them to do it, and I don't have to do all of the physical and laborious planting of things myself. Right, we got, how many of them we got? We still got our 25 there, that's nice. Okay, so what's the most efficient way of doing this? There never is an efficient way, is there? That. If we go next to every other 2, it's going to be a bit of a mangle. You can get these like substations, which cover quite a large area, which there'll be space to put in here in the future. So, you know, a lot of this is going to be about coming back later and upgrading. So, for example, these yellow belts, you know, aren't really sufficient for what I'm trying to do here. You can get better belts. You can get the red belts, which I could probably unlock right about now if I wanted to, which are faster. And then you get the blue belts. So they're faster, but they're harder to produce. It's kind of the trade-off. And then you get the blue belts, which are again faster, but they're even harder to produce. They have to be made in a no, it's not a chemical. You make them in a normal assembler, but you need to actually feed in lubricant to be able to make them work, which means you have to have the chemical processing and all that up and running, which I might get to on the next episode because we are going to need that pretty soon. But they have a lot more capacity because they travel a lot faster. I say for the copper feed, even they're not going to be sufficient, but with additional belts feeding in, I think we should be fine. Ooh, that was the wrong spot. Don't want that there because that looks hideous, even more hideous than it did before. And then yeah, so at some point there will be an episode in this series where we basically just go around and upgrade. Is that if I do middle there, left, middle? No, that doesn't work, does it? Did I leave another one over here? How come I didn't leave one here? Oh, I was over one more, was I? Oh yeah, middle then left. Sorry, yeah. No, it's because that pole's there. That was confusing me, the wooden pole's there. There we go. And then end, middle, end, middle, end, middle, end. Oh, this is really easy commentary when I only have to say one word or two words even. Middle. That's not even middle. Oh, what? I really did run out. Damn you and your need for power. Oh, I don't have any steel to make any more either. Unfortunately, I have a lot of steel back at the other base, so let me go grab some steel and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're back, right. And I made some more of these on the way down, so we can crack on straight away. There we go. So yeah, so not sure where I left off there, but basically there will be an episode, or many episodes I'm sure going forward, which will be about revisiting areas of the base like this and redoing them into a sort of better layout or upgrading them with new technologies as they come along. I mean, I'm hoping I won't need to go back and completely redo everything. What's going on there? Oh, I'm being stupid. I need to match these to these, not to the ones on the copper feed. That would not work at all. But yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to the episode where I go around and replace all the belts with blue belts, which I'm definitely going to do in this one because I've used blue belts a lot in the other episodes, but I've always been a bit sort of precious with them and because they are quite difficult to produce. But I mean, they're difficult to produce until you get the thing producing them, and then you don't need to ever think about them again. They just make forever, so that's obviously what I'll do. There'll be running off the main bus at some point, and there will be a factory which will be making components for building the actual factory itself. Get off the belt. How did I do this again? I missed one and then double. That's it, like this. And obviously certain things like the blue belts, which are going to be needed in large quantities, they will be produced in large quantities, and I want to replace every belt at some point with them. And I know there are times, maybe, I could have made this up in my head, but I believe there are times when actually using the faster belts might not even be the best thing to do. And there's lots of, if you go on like Reddit and places like that, there are so many threads talking about this game, and massive long War and Peace type threads where they argue the various merits of different methods and things like that. It's all very entertaining. And I believe on there's many a conversation about whether yellow belts are actually better than blue belts for various reasons and things like that, or in certain circumstances. So if you're into that kind of nerdy type beautiful goodness, then go check that out. But for me, I'm just gonna go fast. Fast equals good, so make everything fast. Surely you can't go wrong. Right, that is a horrific spider's web of cables. I'm just not going to look at that right now. So once we get the big power transformers, we'll be able to come in and maybe improve that slightly, but whatever. Right, now we just need to hook things up, and this baby should start producing. So we don't have much copper production right now, so there's no way that this little mini smeltery down here is going to be able to produce sufficient copper to run that behemoth up there. But that might help a little bit if we put in some of those. But the guys running that are like, what the fuck is he doing? We haven't produced any copper in ages. Nobody wants any of this copper. Well, my friends, that is all about to change, because you are about to be very busy. Right. So it doesn't really matter too much. We might run a second belt rather than just splitting it off like this, because yeah, just because I have a feeling that once this actually starts flowing, that smeltery down there, as little and puny as it is, will probably... Oops, there we go. This is going to spring into action as soon as that feeds through. And there we go. It won't produce chips yet. There's no iron. Yeah, that smeltery is probably not balanced properly, so it'll probably start to fall apart as soon as... well, I'll probably find ways that I can squeeze a bit more production out of it before expanding it. But we'll see what happens once I start using up all the copper. Where did I put that belt? I put it 2 back, didn't I? Let's keep it uniform for now. That... I put them back to front, didn't I? Yes, I did. I'm thinking, why is that not working? Is that right place? Move nowhere near there. Go away. There we go. 1 block out. There we go. Ah, get closer. Right. There we go. Okay, so that side's feeding in now. So right now it's making it to the end, but that's because these ones at the front aren't recycling. So they've only just filled up and then they stopped because there's no iron coming in. So let's fix that immediately. This iron feed's not going to be sufficient either. Let's just keep it simple for now. We'll have a play around with it in a bit. And yeah, splitting this iron across 4 belts. Yeah, never going to happen. Ah, put it in the right place, Tim. That would help. There we go. Right. Our chips, they're being produced. And I normally like to leave gaps just in case I screw it up and I need to come back later and do something else, but that'll do for now. And that's both the iron feeds, both the copper feeds. Okay, that's everything being produced, isn't it? Awesome. So let's run this up to the main bus. Actually, let's come out 1 more. Yeah, just belt it under here. Over that bit of iron ore, ignore that. I don't know what belt I want to put this onto. I'm going to put it onto the top row for now. I'm certainly going to have to put in another double row of belts, I think, for the main bus. I think 4 rows is certainly not going to be enough. How much belts do we have left currently? Lots. Good. Yeah, I'm going to run this into this because I want to save one of those other ones for copper at least. May end up with 3 copper ones, but say given that the chips are the kind of main problem when it comes to production, and I'm putting the chip factory before the main bus, I kind of feel like this will be, it might be sufficient just to have 2, certainly 2, maybe even 1 copper line. That's until later on in the game when I figure out there's something else massive that needs copper that I haven't thought about. And there we have it. Yeah, that's going to take a little while for it to back up, but that is churning out some things. But as you can tell, as predicted, the copper is getting absolutely nowhere. I mean, partly because we're just not producing it sufficiently. Like, before I'll know exactly where I need to put the additional feeds in, I'll need to get this to a point where it is, you know, solidly stacked. Which it is not right now, obviously. It's only producing at a fairly meager rate. You can probably really build one. Let's build one more steel furnace. I think what the steel furnace basically does is it doubles up production, so it will actually produce twice the amount of for every, well, it'll smelt twice as much at once, basically, I believe is what happens. Let's have a look. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. It's actually copper ore production, so we have, let's build a few more of these and slap them down. Get in another row. That's a weird power pole. Ugh. Also the other thing that to bear in mind, which I didn't mention before, is this will absolutely tank my power. I don't have anywhere near sufficient power to actually run this base right now, but we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. Right, you know what we're gonna have to do. Stick one in there instead, and move all these along one. So it's uniform. There we go. Do we really need one more of those? Run up here and grab a bit of iron, then we can grab. Then we can make another miner drill. Ooh, we have something attacking us. What is attacking us? Turret being damaged. I'm going to assume that turret took care of that problem. Make one more of these so it can be equal. Actually, just make them all. Make them all. I'll make it unequal again, but that's fine. I don't care about that. Oop. Make faster. Come on. There we go. And there we go. Right, are they all hooked up now? I just need one more here. And the belts. Yeah, there's no point doing this really because without the power to actually produce, to get these to run. Oh, really? I ran out of... Oh, damn you. Ran out of belts. Let's go and get some more iron then, shall we? Clearly we need more iron constantly. Yeah. That's why I didn't grab that much that time. I was getting lazy and not running far enough along the belt. There we go. And just craft me a few belts so I can finish this bit off. There we go. No, well that should help, but I say let's have a quick look at our power production. Ooh, down in the red. Yeah, as I predicted, that that new production area, 165 assembly machine 2, most of which I believe are inside of that one new factory, but we knew that might happen. I knew that might happen. So that's partly why I can't tell where this is sufficiently getting all the materials to at all. It's right now it seems it's only the first two that are producing at this rate. But that's fine. They'll produce a lot faster once I sort the power out. But that is for next episode, I think, because we are rapidly running out of time, even with all of my editing and hacking apart this video. I'm going to use my clairvoyant sixth sense to decide that we are probably around about a half an hour episode there. Oh, let's go see who it is, which dickhead it is that actually causing us some issues. Oh, the turret did take a little bit of damage. Just a little. Ooh. That could be useful. I'll maybe move that down into a chest down there to keep feeding the thing. Oh, okay, I see what they're attacking. There's a giant turdy looking thing right next to my water pipe. Did they damage it? It doesn't look like they did. I guess this turret here is probably taking them out. I don't know, it took some damage from something, but I don't know what it was. Let's repair it up and make sure it's got lots of lovely ammo in it. Yeah, it's got loads. Yeah, you can have another 25 if you're doing some good work. And you know what? While we're here, we might as well stick down a couple of turrets here. Just so next time they come, they get an even ruder awakening. There we go. 60 at each. Yeah, that's lovely. But yeah, there you go, guys. We've managed to get the chip plant up and running. So next episode, as I say, we're gonna have to sort out the various power issues that the base is now having. What I'll probably do between now and next episode is actually get going on. I was going to say get going on solar panels, but I believe I need batteries, so probably not going to be able to do that. So next time we'll whack down as a row of steam engines for in the next episode, so we can keep the base functioning until we can move over to a greener form of energy. And then I think we might, if we get time, crack on with getting some oil production underway, because we're not going to be able to do anything much beyond this point until we get the oil production working. But that is for next episode. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this episode of Factorio, and I hope you're enjoying the series. I've been Timmy, and I will see you in the next episode.